little boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You go way back.
Yeah, but we didn't really come to know each other as friends until many, many years later. But I was an actor, and I was working in a musical called Oliver back when I was 13 years old. And the show that was coming into the theater after the show that I was in was the Jackson 5. And one afternoon, I was backstage and a door opened up, and all of a sudden Michael Jackson came walking down the hallway. And I just froze. And in perfect Michael Jackson manner, he said, "Hello, what's your name?" And he just introduced himself to me, and he was the kindest soul. And I just remember he left, and I thought, I've been touched by God. No, he was just the sweetest individual, and never at that moment did I ever think that I would ever have an opportunity to meet him again, let alone stand alongside of him and be in a creative partnership with him. So, and then I got a telephone call from him many years later. I was home, and the phone rang, and my niece answered it. And she was in the back room. She answered the phone, and she screamed across the house, "Uncle Kenny, some jerks on the phone saying it's Michael Jackson." And I was like, people called me. So I ran to the phone, I picked it up, and I said hello, and it was Michael. And I heard that voice, and I said, "Michael, I'm so sorry, I apologize, that was my niece. She had no idea." And he said, "That's okay, Kenny, nobody ever thinks it's me."
That's an awesome story, I love that. So you guys have done many concerts together, you've done a lot of work together. What was yours and Michael's creative process like? Like, how did you get it started? To take us on that journey?
Just Michael was the most generous person, as all of us here that have worked with him have had the opportunity to come to know. He gave you a voice. If he invited you into his space to work with him, he gave you a voice. And so all of us, production designers, costume designers, lighting technicians, dance, all of us had a voice. And he listened to that voice, and then he was this mastermind that kind of took from what was around him and what he was imagining himself, and we put it together like a theatrical production with great reason and plan, and we're motivated by high ideas. I'll never forget, I asked him at one point, when he said he was ready to go back out, Kenny, I'm ready to go back out. And I was like, okay, why now? And he said, well, my children are getting to an age where they can appreciate what it is that Michael Jackson does, and I want them to see what I've loved all my life. I want them to be able to enjoy that. And then my fans, I want to do it for my fans that have stood by my side all along, no matter what conditions were going on, that were always there for me and with me and never left my side. And he said, and lastly, I want to do it because I want to use the stage and my music and myself as an artist. The stage is a platform, and myself as an artist, to remind people that the world is in a very vulnerable state. And through my music and through my performance, we need to remind people that we need to take care of Mother Earth so that it will be recognizable for people in the future. That's why he went out. That's why he did what he did. He had what we call raison d'être, reason for being. Michael was motivated by the most incredible and important things. He didn't just go out and dance. And clearly you can see, that there was just a tremendous amount that lived inside of him that was motivating everything that he did on stage.
That's well said. That's definitely one of the things that stuck to me in as one of Michael's fans is that. So who picked the dancers and the singers, and when the band when tours happened? How did that process work?
Well, that's a great question, because I wanted to introduce somebody that's here with me today that is one of my best friends in life, who has also been instrumental in keeping Michael Jackson's legacy strong and powerful and alive for all these years, who danced with Michael, taught Michael, was his co-choreographer along with LaBelle Smith for the History Tour, a remarkable choreographer and human being. Come up here with me and answer some questions with me. Travis Payne.
you probably know, Travis was also one of our amazing choreographers for the show. So this man is amazing.
Talk about the dancers and how we brought dancers in. Better than you.
Well, the dancers were an extension of Michael himself. We always had the distinct opportunity and privilege of carrying on the messages and through our physicality illustrating what was so baked into the music and the messages. So we were performers and treated as, you know, we were so valuable because we did more than dance. You know, we had to understand Michael's psychology, a lot of his reasoning, and understand the purpose for what we were doing. So, you know, it was a stage that for many dancers would be the ultimate achievement. And for us, it just kept being that. You know, it never got old, it never got tiring. But for the situations that I was involved in, the dance part was very rigorous. Some of you don't know, but I auditioned for the Dangerous tour and was not cast originally. So, you know, but because it was Michael, you keep trying. You know, you don't give up, you don't give in, because he never did. So it would become, you know, my reality to join him on stage, you know, along with Jamie during that time. And then for history, get to take Rich and Tone out on their first big experience, you know, after finding them as teenagers in the Bay Area doing their thing. And I saw magic and knew that it needed to join us on stage. Michael afforded us that luxury, as he so often did. He trusted those around him. He would say, get the best people in the world you can find, put them in the room together, and inspire them to be greater than they thought they could be. Right? So we always got the chance to do that. And the dancers were like soldiers. We continued the message. We carried ourselves in public that way. We were able to, you know, share other opportunities with the younger generations of performers. That was always the goal. He said, go find the diamonds in the rough. Let's buff them off and make them brilliant.
I would definitely say that's something that you were able to bring to us when you choreographed for us, because you were able to work with our MJ1 performers to be able to bring that out and to inspire them from all the things that you learned.
Yeah, it was an honor, and I thank Jamie for inviting me to participate and be able to impart some knowledge and wisdom and personal experience with our very young cast who are from all over the world with different languages and different skill sets. But what we had the ability to do also with the Cirque family is get a major training process going on so that everything was safe and effective and gorgeous and lasting. So, same sensibility that Michael and Kenny would put into all of our work. We would never hit the stage before we were ready, and every time we hit the stage, we left everything there. Yeah?
We spilled it. We spilt it.
What about songs? So did you guys decide the set list? Did you guys work out everything before, or did he add in? Like, he strikes me as someone that was be inspired in the moment and continue to add. So how did that work, choosing songs?
He wanted to sing it all the time. He wanted to sing everything. And I just remember the first set list, whenever we were putting a tour together, it would have been a 5.5-hour show. And so it was a process. And he would rehearse with the band and the dancers, and everyone would learn everything. I mean, you know, we would learn enough for 2 shows. And then eventually we would just, the selections would start to happen, and, you know, and those that would float up, you know, remained, and the perfect sort of arc and set list arrived.
That's awesome.
There were those songs that he always did, though, of course. But yeah, it was so much fun to, that whole process. Working with him in the creative process, Michael was so knowledgeable about so many things. He was a man of the theater. I mean, I think if you know theater, then I don't have to tell you that. If you don't know theater, I mean, Michael's respect for the stage and what the responsibility of an artist is in order to deliver, it was like no other pop performer that I had artist ever worked with. Michael really had a value from the moment that you stepped on that stage, that you as the artist had a responsibility to deliver. He would say to me, Kenny, if the audience isn't talking about us when the sun comes up tomorrow morning, we didn't do our job. He went on that stage and he took it as a job, as a responsibility, and worked that hard to make sure that and instilled it, and made sure that when he walked off that stage, that he accomplished something that was going to be mighty and important and impacting and inspirational. And all the times that Jamie, I'm sure that you danced with him, the Taluegas and Travis, and all those times that I stood there and watched all over the world, it happened every single night.
Everyone put in the work, right? The work. So, what would you say your fondest memories of working with Michael as a creative partner? What was that like in your fondest memory?
For me, he just, in the way that he set the stage from the very beginning, he would say things to me over, the many years that we worked together as if I'd never heard them before. And it was just because they were so important to him that he had to make sure that they were understood before day one of rehearsals, day one of creating. And the most important one was, do not let fear into the room. Fear only gets in the way of the creative process. And it was so important to Michael that we could explore, we could adventure, we could experiment that without fear, and able to make mistakes, trip, fall, get picked up again, in order to find the ultimate place that we wanted to be in, and that never should we be afraid, or anyone in the space with us that would bring fear into the room with them. So that was really important. And that made for such a heck of a process. Every day you went to work and everything was possible. You never knew what was going to come out the other side of the day. You want to add to that?
Of course. For me, the creative process was always so special because, I grew up obsessed with Michael, like so many of us here. He was my reason for wanting to do this. It was as a boy in Atlanta, Georgia, seeing LaBella Smith on stage and saying, that guy looked like a superhero. Wow, that's possible. That set my life path, right? So Michael was also so gracious in that he was a wonderful teacher and educator. Not many artists let you into their process. Certainly don't invite you to participate in their process. And I am so forever grateful to him because, thinking of seeing them on stage, I think it was the Bab Tour, and then finally getting to dance, and then being bestowed the honor of choreography, and then years later being bestowed the honor of directing. And it was an upwardly mobile wonderland of just knowledge and experience that you just cannot buy. And it's very hard to explain. Those of us who got to spend any great amount of time with him understood how sensitive he was to everything. He cared about everyone. He cared about your parents. He cared so deeply about the human race that to be that gentle and loving and successful and powerful and never willed it over you. He was very disarming. He knew the power he possessed, but as soon as you entered the room, he would break the ice. And then you start to breathe deeper. And he's like, okay, now let's get to work. You see, he knew the process. He knew how to get out of you what it was. He would say, keep the soldiers happy, you win the war, right? So he had these little Michaelisms that stick with me that I carry into my work and try to impart in the younger generations that I'm fortunate enough to get to inspire. So the whole thing, not a bad thing I can say about Michael Jackson at all, ever.
That's so awesome. That's something that is so important in the creative process, right? Is like not having fear, and also that disarmament to where you knew that you could present something, or you could be who you were as a performer, or creator, as an artist. That's awesome. So this one's a hard question because there's a lot to pick from. What was your favorite song on the History Tour and why?
One more time.
What was your favorite song on the History Tour and why?
I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm having Let's talk about that song for a minute.
Yes,
I
please.
mean, look at the world we're living in right now.
Right?
Look at the world that we are living in right now and what we have been through in this last year. And with climate and politics and disease and all of these things that we really have to take responsibility for having brought on ourselves. You know, Michael's saying, take a look at yourself. And if you expect something to change, then you gotta take responsibility. You have to do it. You have to be the starter. That song, to me, is one of the most inspirational songs ever written. And to watch that man perform that song on stage, to me, was truly one of the most magnificent examples of performance that I've ever seen in my life.
I'm inspired just listening to you. So, overall, this is for both of you guys, what's your favorite Michael Jackson song overall?
Okay, we're going to have more than the two of us answer this question.
That's a good
We
question.
have to bring up Jamie King, who directed Michael Jackson 1 and just about every other mega show in the world. And are the Taluegas here? Get up here. You're a part of this. You're a part of this history. Come on. Come get a seat. We have to invite them up. And Karen, while the gentlemen are coming up, Karen, thank you so much for making it possible for us to be here today and for the presentation of these wonderful songs from the history tour and for all that you have done. Come up here and be with us, please. All right. We were talking about who picked the dancers. I'll never forget the day that Jamie King auditioned for Michael Jackson. That was the day that I said, you have to be an extension of Michael Jackson to get the job. This man, right here, was destined for the star that he has become. Jamie King, the one and only. Okay, favorite song.
So, I'm not gonna do song yet because Kenny Ortega, you guys, it's Kenny Ortega. He's amazing. And I just wanna say, I'll try this up a little bit. Michael Jackson family up here, but I just have to say, I have to take just a quick personal moment. I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm biracial, I'm gay. I was really skinny. I had a horrible upbringing, okay? So I wanted one thing. That one thing was to be like what I saw on MTV, and it was Michael Jackson. I would go to school, I would dress up like Michael Jackson, I would get terrorized because of it. So when I finally got the chance to audition for the Dangerous tour, they were looking for one boy. One, right? There was like 10,000, there's so many people there. And I got that job. Have I ever thanked you? I want to thank you again. Thank you so much for that. Michael Jackson and Travis, thanks for pushing me to go. I think you were a big part of that as well, right? So I just want to say thank you. I have so much gratitude for this whole thing, this journey together, and being able to honor Michael Jackson's legacy for me is everything. And I'm so grateful, Karen, the estate, Guy La Liberté, and Cirque for asking me to direct Michael Jackson 1, but I could not have done it without these people and this influence. So just thank you so much. Thank you. Lastly, that Dangerous tour saved my life. No joke.
What's your favorite song, though?
Man in the mirror.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Okay. You want to introduce him? Who wants the honor? Who wants the honor? Okay.
Why don't we? Because he's probably been with Mike for longer than all of us here. His name is Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffett, aka Sugarfoot. That's right, Nolan. I want to say Victory Tour. He's been drumming for the Jacksons since then. There's only 2 drummers. There are only 2 drummers that Michael will not be on stage without. He's one of them. The other one has passed on. Ricky Lawson. Rest in peace, Ricky Lawson. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Moffett, baby, give it up!
We had no idea this was going to happen today. Isn't this amazing?
This is, I don't think y'all understand, but this is Michael Jackson alumni right here. You know, you got every generation. Gosh, man, I'm about to start crying.
Say hello, Jonathan. Yeah, the longest. You have been with him the longest. And for so much. You okay? Say hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffett. I'm a drummer. Started with Michael and the Brothers at spring of 1979. Drove out in my car from New Orleans, 3,200 miles, and for a chance. And as God will have it, I got lost on the freeway about a month and a half after I got out here, outside California. And by God's divine intervention, I found the music director for the Jacksons. And it was on the last day of audition for drummers. And he was from my hometown, New Orleans. And he invited me to audition on that last day, got him to extend it a day. And here, that legacy led me here to talking with you guys today. Michael and the brothers accepted me in the group and organization, and it's been an unbelievable ride of my life. The little boy who dreamed came true, and it's anointing from above. And Michael is my brother, more than my boss, and he's my friend, but we had brotherly spirit, really, between us. And we had the same feelings about a lot of the same things. Michael is spirit. You gotta understand. Michael was great when he reached and moved the whole entire world, because we are all connected to the greater energy of us all. That is, we call God. It's all energy of all of us together as one. Michael had the radio frequency inside that he can tap into, like a radio station you dial in. He was always connected. That's why he understood everything. He understood about the global warming, about the earth, had songs like Earth Song. He had all the meaningful black and white songs about unity of mankind, no matter what color. Michael had greater sensitivity. That's why he's the king of life and king of pop and king of music, and because he was connected to the eternal source of energy and life, and most importantly named Spirit. And he and I were on the same wavelength, and I'm very honored and grateful to have been his drummer for off and on 30 years of association.
I mean, who better of a person to answer the song, or like the question, your favorite song? What was your favorite song?
Wow, you're gonna do this to me. Wow, come on now. Yeah, that's so difficult, because every time the count off came on for every single song, I say, this is my favorite song. Now, the next song come up and say, oh, we're gonna get down on this one, this is my favorite song. Yeah. Every song, he wrote so many incredible songs, moving and spiritual songs that we all love, but I can name a few of them. I can't name one, it's too difficult. Put me on the spot. Of course I'm gonna say Billie Jean, because it's got to be the Billie Jean has got to be it, because at the end of that song is the only time I had Michael to myself. Everybody else left the stage, and it was just Michael and I, my beat and his beat. Come on. So we were working out. We like I said, that connected energy and spirit between us. It was like I was an umbilical cord to him, a MIDI cable. I could feel his inflections, and as soon as he do a little thing like this, I knew what to do instinctively as far as an accent or something that moves. And when I watched him, I got so powerfully inspired that it gave me intensity of energy that I never knew I would have. Every song, every time we played Billie Jean, I inspired from him. He didn't look around and inspire from me. So it was a big connection of energy and spirituality. And we felt each other all the time. We were connected. So Billie Jean, okay. I'm a drummer, so I want to be starting something, because the drum pad is pretty cool. It's a good for drummers. I like black and white. It was awesome to play. And I also, being a drummer, kind of surprisingly, I loved Stranger in Moscow, because the beat was very, very sensitive, but I love playing sensitivity, and was according for the song, not according for the drummer, according for the song. And I felt when I played that song, the patterns and the little inflections and colors and highlights I could add to make it more sensitized. I love when that song came up, because I got to be expressive and painting with more colors and stuff when I'm painting my drum rhythms.
So I love that song as well. But there's so many. Thriller, I love playing Thriller. It's groove and stuff. I get to do some of my hi-hat inflections and work. But you can't name a song, I guarantee you, any one of you out there, you cannot name a song of Michael Jackson that you don't like. Because all of them are incredible pieces of art and all music. And that's what's important.
I say, Jonathan, standing backstage or out at the sound booth, when I had the privilege of being there with you and Michael, that moment in Billie Jean was like a conversation. The two of you were like having a conversation up there. And it was the most extraordinary thing to behold. You were so connected, divinely connected. You know, you were answering each other's questions, and it was an amazing thing. And a privilege and an honor that I got to stand there and observe that with the two of you musicians. It was brilliant.
Yes, it was spirit. It was spirit, and it was instantaneous life as it happened between us. We were connected spiritually. I still feel him, and I still play the music just as if he was there. All right.
He is. You know, Jamie's brilliant show, MJ1, which I get to see tonight again for the third time, honestly, it brings Michael's spirit into this space. And some of the people that help do that are here, and I'm going to ask them to also come up here and join us because you guys do an incredible job. The dancers that are here from MJ1, come up here. Every night.
Come on down, guys. Come on down.
Every night.
Come on.
And also, you know, Michael Jackson was the king of style and innovated so much and is so responsible for so much of what we're wearing. His costume and wardrobe partner is here, the great Michael Bush. We do love Michael. Yes. Hello. You already know.
We've got a bunch of different disciplines here. We've got some dancers, we've got some characters, we've got some acro, all bringing Michael's legend to life every night.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one last one that I'd like to ask you guys. For those who'd like to share, will you please share with us a beautiful moment that you had with Michael? Something, a beautiful moment where his essence came through.
I remember Michael would call me sometimes at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning after I'd been working 16, 17 hours in rehearsals and preparation for a tour. And I remember this one particular night, I said, Michael, you should be resting and sleeping. And he said, I'm working on the record, I'm working on the song. And I said, well, why don't you, he said, oh, I'm channeling. I'm channeling and I'm working on the song. And I said, well, Michael, could you make a deal with the spirits that you're channeling with, if they could pause until we get the show open, and then you could channel and work on the record. He said, Kenny, if I don't take the information when it comes to me, he'll give it to Prince.
So true. They were comrades, immense respect for each other, completely, you know. And my Prince story is, Michael said, to your point, go home, go to sleep, go home, go to sleep. No, I might miss something. He feels like he missed Purple Rain. He felt like he missed Purple Rain. Yeah. And then it just was energy, and you could tell that they fed each other, because it was just them, right? When it started, as far as males. And so it was always so wonderful to hear Michael talk about Prince and his affection for his artistry and who he was as a person, and just that mutual camaraderie that, right, and Prince would talk about Michael, yes. But we don't see a lot of that with our artists today. We see a lot of jealousy. We see a lot of deceit. But what those guys did, those legends did, is they knew that there was enough magic to go around for everybody. And if you just did your own thing the best way you knew how to do your thing, that's fine. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. You study the greats to become great, but you make your own lane while doing it, right?
Yeah. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for coming here to celebrate Michael Jackson's birthday.
Thank you to everyone that's on stage here for sharing everything that you have. Penny.
Kenny, thank you for being with us. We really appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here.
Yo,
Great day, great day. Thank you.
nothing